Crafternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. Today, we're going to have some fun because we're going to be playing with the new Jolly Holly 3D embossing folder bundle. That's a mouthful. And I'm going to be making both a card and a tag for you today. And I love this bundle because it's super easy to make cards with it. It's such a complete design in and of itself, and all it really needs is a pretty greeting and you've got a beautiful card. And I'm going to be making a 5x7 card today because when it comes to those embossing folders, especially those big background ones like this one, I don't want to cut much of it off. I want you to see absolutely as much of it as you can. So I'm going to be using Master Layouts 20 for this to create a nice frame, and then we're going to let all that beautiful embossed look show through. But before we get started, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Jolly Holly, hello. From the dead space.
Do you have a Santa hat over there?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
We need that?
I'm not going to wear it right now, but I used a little Santa hat graphic on my YouTube thumbnail, and I think a lot of people thought I was really wearing a hat. It was just my regular picture, and it looks a lot like that. So, yes, we'll have to get some other Santa hats and elf hats and things for the rest of the season. But, Tom, it looks good on you. Well,
of course
not
it
that
does.
way. So
I'll work on that.
How are you doing today?
I, of course, am better than horrible. We're having a good day here, and look at us all falled out.
I know, it was chilly this morning. I needed a vest this morning. It was pretty chilly.
Yeah, beautiful vest there.
Thank you. Costco special.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Get it at Costco now.
All right.
Oh, gosh. Well, do you have a word of the day? I know that's what everybody's thinking.
Yes, I have a Jolly Holly word of the day.
Ooh, okay. All right. Work it. Okay. I'm excited. Okay, well, let's get started right away because I'm going to make two projects today. So if you haven't seen the Jolly Holly embossing folder bundle, this is what it looks like. So it comes with this 3D embossing folder, and then it also has a set of 4 layering stencils in there, and it has a die that will cut out one of the areas here. Right in the center, this area, right in the center, it will cut out for you. So we're going to use this die when we make our tag, but we're going to use the whole embossing folder with a piece of cardstock to make our panel for the background. Now there's also going to be a little bit of foiling that's going to happen today. So I think I'm going to do that right away before I start die cutting. So for those of you that are new to foiling, this is our fuse foiling system, and I am going to foil 2 things. It is not necessary to do the foiling to make these cards. You can also make them just using a plain tag, and you can also do the greeting in embossing ink and embossing powder if you want to add a little sparkle, but you're not into foiling. I'm going to use foiling whenever I get a chance because, first of all, I love it. And second of all, I think that for the holiday cards, it's almost fun to bring back things from the previous year. So for those of you that remember last year's Christmas kit, Holiday Floral was part of that kit. Well, we also have a Polyglaze set called Holiday Floral Greetings. And let me see, did I tuck that in here? I may have, or I may not have. No, here it is. So here is one of the sheets from the Holiday Floral Greetings Polyglaze sheets. And when we do coordinating Polyglaze for our stamp sets, the greetings, well, everything will cut out with the same die set that you can cut all the stamps out with. So I'm going to be using this Happy Holidays greeting, and I'm going to use a Merry Christmas greeting. And then I'm going to use To You and Yours. And I think that might be this one, To You and Yours. Let's see. Let me put my glasses on so I can really see here. To You and Yours. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so I'll be using this. And then we just released some brand new Polyglaze, which matches this die set. So this is our Tags Trio die set. We actually just got a shipping notice for a bunch more of these to come in. I really love this giant tag. I think it's great to not just use for tags, but you can also use it as the focal image for a card. So let's say you had a bigger card. You could actually put that on there as the focal image panel for a card. You can also use these for the smaller cards too, for A2. And of course, it's nice to have a variety of tags. Well, we did some Polyglaze sheets that coordinate with this tag set, and it's got all 3 size tags in it. So I'm going to do a big tag too. I want to foil a big tag. So I'm going to cut that out. And then I'm going to cut out some of the greetings from the Polyglaze, the holiday floral greetings Polyglaze. So I'm going to do Happy Holidays, like I said. I'm doing all my foiling now so I don't have to worry about it later when it comes time to assemble these cards. And then I'm going to do to you and yours. Okay. So if you're new to Polyglaze, Polyglaze is similar to the foiling methods that you've seen with laminators. Oh, I have to get the Christmas one too. And it works in a similar way to the toner sheets. But Polyglaze is different because it is actually, we print these with a very light gray ink so that people can see the actual design. And then the design is coated with a Polyglaze material that really allows foil to grab on there, and it creates a beautiful foiled look. And the nice thing about it, the thing that makes it just a little bit different than the toner sheets, is because these are not black, you don't really see any black spots, which is very nice when you're foiling. Very nice addition. So I'm going to use some of our 14 karat gold foil. And I have one large piece left here. And let me grab my Swiffer.
PA wants to know, is the largest tag large enough to fit a gift card?
Yes, it definitely is large enough to fit a gift card. In fact, if you look at some of my videos from last Christmas, last holiday season, I actually made a gift card holder out of this tag, and all I did was cut 2 of them, and I cut the top off of the second one, and then I put that onto the front so that the gift card, or onto the back, so that the gift card could just sit in. I made a little pocket. I just taped it around the perimeter, and you could slip a gift card right in there, and then you could decorate it and use it as a tag. So it definitely does. I know that because I made that. Okay, so we're going to start with a dusting cloth, and you can use any kind of dusting cloth. I'm using a Swiffer duster. We have those here in the United States. I'm not sure if they're available in other parts of the world, but they have like a little bit of a staticiness about them. So when you rub over the surface of the foil and the Polyglaze, it just picks up any dust. So I'm sure that you have them. They're just probably called something other than a Swiffer duster. And then I'm laying my foil pretty side up and the design side up. And now I'm going to put these into my carrier sheet. And I'm going to send it through the fuse. This is my fuse laminator. I'm going to send it through the fuse with the folded side going in first. So I have one little piece of foil here. I think I could probably get maybe 2 of the greetings out of this. We'll see. I'll probably cut it in half and neither one will fit. But you know, such is life, right? All right. So let's see if it covers. It doesn't have to cover all the paper, it just has to cover the design completely. And I think that will work. So there's for the Merry Christmas, and this is for the Happy Holidays. That will work. And then I just need one skinny little piece of foil. And of course, I always have lots of 14 karat because it is one of my favorite golds, and I've got like some little pieces here that I keep all the scraps, you know, all the little scraps. So they're perfect for little strip sentiments.
And a question from Laura Ann. When are the new ink pad colors and cardstock going to be available? Some of those kinds of questions are tough for us on the live.
Yeah, I can say that our plan is to release them in our next release for that. So stay tuned for later this month for our October release. We will be having those new colors available. Okay, so now I'm going to do this final one. I'm going to just Swiffer the back. I should say dust. Dust the back, dust the front, and lay that together. Now, that was pretty cooled off, so I can pull this off. Look at that. Isn't that so pretty? That just jazzes up that tag shape. And I think it makes a difference, especially if you're going to have a foiled greeting. It's kind of nice to have the little foiled perimeter. It's just such a pretty look. And what's nice about products like this is if you get a product like this, oh, also, save this piece because you can cut all the foil out of here to do designs like this. It can run through the machine a second time. Don't waste this. But what's nice about this is you can use this any time of the year, right? It's a tag. Anytime you make a gift tag for anything, birthday, graduation, retirement, anything, you can use that design. So it's not a holiday specific design. All right, I'm shoving all of these in here at once. We'll hope for the best. There we go. I want them all going in that direction. Okay, so they're all in there, and we're sending them all through together. That'll cut some time out. A big shout out to Brianne Loveland. I see you, Brianne. If you'll notice, Brianne Loveland is in the chat, and if there's anything that you can't find on our website, you can always just tag her by just doing an @ sign and then typing out her name, Brianne Loveland. She'll see it, and she can help you find anything on our website. She's our link ninja. She is amazing. So, question, will there be new cardstock to go with the new ink colors? Yes, ma'am. There sure will be. That's what we were waiting for. That was what was taking so long. The cardstock takes forever to mill. All right, so I'm going to shut this off and hope for the best. I never like to shut it off until I know it's going to look good because I might have to run one through again, but I think it's going to be fine. Polyglaze pretty much all the time looks good. All right, and there we go. Happy holidays. Perfect. Let's get this one. Get these out of here. I'll put that away. All right. Merry Christmas. Beautiful. And to you and yours. Perfect. Yeah, the Polyglaze is a no-brainer. It's so easy to use. And you can also use the reverse pieces on our white Polyglaze sheets if you want. You can use them. So I save them in case I ever need a fast greeting and I don't really, I want it to be more, you see more gold that way, right? Because it's the opposite and just the white shows through where the words are. So that's kind of fun. Okay, so now I feel like we can do a little bit of die cutting for these projects. So I'm going to get my Intracut here. And we're going to be embossing that folder too. This is my Masking Magic. I like to use Masking Magic strips for die cutting. I always keep one close by on my die cutting machine because it's so low tack that it doesn't even bother the gold foil. It's really, really nice. All right, so for my card today, I'm going to use Master Layouts 20 and Master Layouts 8. So I threw 20 into the 8 package because my Master Layouts 20 is the test sample that I received, and so I didn't have packaging for it. So this is from Master Layouts 20. We're going to create a beautiful frame, and then I'm going to use the plain die from Master Layouts 8 to do a little background on that. And those are the only dies I'm going to need from that set. So let's cut these out first. All right, so I'm going to need some white cardstock. And I'm going to use our 80-pound layering weight white cardstock. Let me cut a couple of these in half just so I have them. I just did that off to the side here. And I'm going to cut 3 frames because I'm going to stack these frames. I need to have my machine set on die cut. Now, for the 3D embossing folders, I do get a lot of questions like, what sandwich do I use for my Spellbinders machine? Or can I use these in the Gemini? Or how do I do it in an Anna Griffin? I don't have all of those answers. With a lot of those machines, it's really trial and error, right? You've got to do whatever you would normally do for a 3D embossing folder, and then you either need to add shims or take shims away, depending on, you know, the different folders. Because 3D embossing folders are all just a little bit different. I'm going to cut 3 of these, like I said. They're all just a little bit different. So I would say whatever you normally do for a 3D embossing folder, try that, but never force it. If it feels like it's being forced, don't do it. Back up, back out, and, you know, take away some shims. Don't go, maybe change the plate configuration. Because you never want to totally bend the embossing folder. There's going to be a little bit of a bend in it anyway because you're sending it through a machine that's tightening it. I always think, every time I see a 3D embossing folder, I know this is weird, but every time I think about it, I think about getting a mammogram because it's very similar. It's always like, okay, is that okay? You know, they always like tighten it and say, is that okay? And you say, yeah, and then they tighten it just a little bit more. Well, it's kind of like that with 3D embossing folders or any embossing folders. You want to have it tight enough that it's going to leave a good impression, but you don't want to have it so tight that you can't send it through the machine because it could break your plate, it could break the embossing folder, it could bend the embossing folder. So I think about that every single time I'm getting a mammogram. I think, oh, those poor little embossing folders. This is what I put them through every time. Oh, my goodness. I just had a mammogram recently, too, so it's fresh in my mind. That moment. All right, now I'm going to be using shades of spruce today for my greenery. So I'm going to use our Christmas pine instead of black. I know I've been doing that a little bit much lately. I've been using other colors other than black, but Christmas pine is a great color to go with the spruces. It's in that same vein, so if you don't have a color that matches with the spruce, pick up Christmas pine. It's perfect. It works with the light, the medium, or the dark, and I love that because with the light, medium, and dark, you really don't need a light, medium, and dark cardstock. You just need the one that's going to work with all of them. And Christmas pine really looks great with all of them. It's just a beautiful, beautiful look. I know that looks a little bit yellowy green, but when it gets on there and it dries up, it really looks beautiful. And you can see even the dark spruce. So all of these look really good. I know, Sharon, no black today. What is wrong with me? Somebody take my temperature. Okay, so now I am going to cut this tag. And this is where I'm going to use some of my masking magic, because whenever I'm die cutting something, I either want to use my magnetic plate or I want to use a little masking magic. And since I already have this plate here, it doesn't really matter. I like using the magnetic plate more with things like that work with like coordinating stamped images. But these bigger ones, I feel like this plate actually works a little bit better for me. Okay, so I'm going to pop that right there. And then I'm going to put a little bit at the bottom here, just to make sure I've got that centered well. And then I'm going to send that through. Everybody get your mammogram. Well, not everybody, because I'm sure we have some guys out there. But I know that actually guys can get breast cancer too. So it's important to always check for lumps. My mom had breast cancer and my maternal grandmother had breast cancer. So I've never been tested for the gene, but I almost feel like I don't need to be tested for it. I just assume that I have the gene and I keep on it all the time because early detection is the key. That's what they say. Okay, and I believe October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so, you know, good time to be thinking about that and just getting out there and doing what you need to do. Okay, so now I'm going to cut 2 of these. Now this is the Holly from the Jolly Holly embossing folder set. I'm going to cut 2 of these out, just plain cutting them out. And I do like to cut them out before I emboss them. Because if you can emboss first and then cut them out, but you kind of squish down, remember squish? You kind of squish down the embossing. So I like to actually cut them first, then emboss them, and then stencil them. So that's my order that I like to do them. Cut, emboss, and then stencil. Jane, I will look into that MRI that you're talking about. I will look into that. Okay, so now I've got these done. The only other things that we're going to have to die cut today are these greetings. So while I have the machine out, I am going to just go ahead and cut out the greetings, and then we can put the machine away and we can get to making some cards. So I did pull those dies out. I'm looking for the die set, but here I already pulled the dies out. So I'm going to cut the Happy Holidays. These words, these Polyglaze words for holidays, oh my word. And the stamp set too from last year. I'll never get over that. I love that stamp set and these words so much. I feel like they're timeless. So if you got that one last year, bring it out and mix it with your new stuff. If you didn't get it, of course, it's still available. We like to keep these kinds of classic style stamp sets in our collection because they are so pretty. And I love how it cuts out all the innards. You know what I mean? All these little parts here get cut out. I feel like that's so elegant looking. So there's the Happy Holidays. Now we'll do the Merry Christmas. I picked up my pick and stick tool for no reason other than to have it in my hand. There are little pokey dots on these on the dies for you to poke out what you need to poke out, but they do fall out relatively easy. I'll clean the dies later. Okay. And let's see here. This one is pretty too. Just a classic Merry Christmas greeting. See? And again, all those innards are all cut out. I love that. And then we'll cut the last one, which is the To You and Yours. Is that right? To You and Yours. Does that look right? No. Let's try it this way. If it doesn't look really just right, it's probably upside down. These little strip sentiments can be tricky to figure out, but what I would definitely do if, you know, is just try it both ways. You can even make a little template to lay on top of it in a different color so that you can see if the outline looks right. And if you prefer, you can always cut those out with sentiment strip dies too, just the long rectangles, and that works as well. Alrighty. There we go. To You and Yours. It is so nice though to have them cut like that, isn't it? It's so elegant. I love that. And it allows you to pop the greetings up all the greetings up. So we've been doing even our little strip sentiments in the sets. We've been doing dies for them, and I think everybody's enjoying that. I know I enjoy it. Now, I'll tell you, if you missed Tuesday night's video, I'm just going to give you a peek at something that I did. Oh, I am going to need this, though, for embossing, aren't I? I'm going to give you just a little peek at something that we did at the very end of Tuesday night's video. I used this folder with our Silver Rise and Shine paste. And all I did was take a piece of blue denim cardstock, and I used the stencil, and I just did it flat onto over the stencil. So these designs were just flat. They weren't embossed. And then I let it dry for a couple hours. And then live, I put it into my embossing folder to see what it would look like. And honestly, it looks spectacular. I was so shocked at how pretty that looked. So if you have any Rise and Shine paste or you have any metallic paste, give that a try with this folder. I think you're really going to like it. And you can check out Tuesday night's video. Just zip ahead near the end to see this technique. And I think you'll like doing it. So it's super fun. You could do the leaves like this, or you could just do the berries. You know, you don't have to do the leaves, just the berries could be in gold and the leaves could all be stenciled in green. So very fun technique. And I was really glad that it worked because I was sweating it. I didn't try it beforehand. Sometimes I just like to try things with you guys because you're so much fun and supportive. Okay, so I'm going to cut a piece of cardstock 4.5 inches by about 6 inches to send it through this embossing folder. All right, that might even be a little wide, but it's okay.
And that, of course, was crafting by the seat of Gina's pants.
I love that.
The new episode, the new
segment?
The new segment, yes.
All right, so I put that into the embossing folder, and now I'm going to turn my Intracut machine to 2D, and I'm going to turn the press and twist dial to about -2. That dial varies by embossing folder. Some of them you need a little more pressure, some of them you need a little less pressure. Just don't force it. If it's not going through easily, don't force it.
Deborah wants to know, is it best to keep a soaking tray when using the paste and glitter gels?
Yes, I always keep a soaking tray. Now I'm going to flip this over. You can see it's curling just a little bit, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. It's not too much. Yeah, I would keep a soaking tray, and anytime I use pastes or gels or anything like that, I always, just toss them in there. Okay, so let's see. Do I want to do this a little bit more? Maybe a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit more down on this end. I'm going to just tighten it a little bit more because the embossing folders sometimes down near the bottom need a little bit of extra help. Just running it through a couple times. Ugh, all I can think of is the mammogram. Okay, so now we've got that beautiful 3D embossed look. Let's see what that looks like on the back. Beautiful. All right, now I'm going to 3D emboss these designs. I use Masking Magic for this, and when you're going to use these designs, these little die cuts, you have to feel for the side where it's sunk in. You don't want the side that's pressing out. You want the side that's sunk in. That is the side that you're going to put these onto. And you'll feel it kind of snap in there. It snaps in pretty well, but I don't trust it. So I always put a little bit of Masking Magic in there to try to hold it in place. You could put it on more than one spot if you want. You could put it over here, but just one side really is enough. I don't need it to be that tight for this because it's just one design. So I'm going to send that through, and I'm going to send it back. Hey, Kathy Z. Make sure it goes all the way through, though. Okay. I'm going to do this again because it shifted, but I think that's okay. You guys don't mind, right? All right. So I'm going to pull this apart. Now you can see how beautiful that is. It's got all that beautiful texture in there. And the masking magic, it doesn't tear the paper, but don't just pull it off. Like, take your time and let it come out gently. Okay, and then I'm going to do this other one. Same thing. You're going to feel for where it's sunk in, and then it goes right here in the middle. I'll use a different one this time, since that one has an impression in it. Okay. And we're going to run this one through. Alrighty.
Question, do you ever moisten the paper before embossing?
I have. I don't always do that. Some people do. I tend to do that more if I'm using a thicker cardstock. So I'm using our 80-pound cardstock, and I feel like it, you know, it embosses pretty easily, and it doesn't really crack. But if you're using a very thick cardstock, you might want to moisten it a little bit. Some people use just a fine mist of water. Other people use a fine mist of alcohol. Just something to put a little moisture in it. I don't have my alcohol in a mister bottle because I'm a little sensitive to the chemicals, so I don't really like spraying them into the air where I can breathe them. But, you know, I use this. This is the Tim Holtz sprayer. So we can do it. Let's do it. All right, so I'm going to just take this piece of cardstock and just do a light mist over it of water. Just puts a little humidity into the cardstock, and it does make it a little bit easier to emboss. So let's try it. We'll see what happens. All right, here we go.
And a question from Nicole, will you consider creating a cut and emboss folder where the die is embedded inside the embossing folder? That sounds tricky.
Yeah, you know, we've been looking at that, and we've sent some samples in, and they're cool. They're very cool. I won't say that they're not cool. The only downside to that is you have to cut it every time, right? So if you don't want that, you're stuck with it, right? Where this, you can use it either way. You can use it as a full embossing folder, or you can die cut the pieces and put them in separately. You can also die cut on the cardstock first and then line up the hole and just get the embossing all around the outside of the hole. So I'm up in the air about that. It's cool. It's a cool thing. Our company does make them, but I'm up in the air. I don't know how I feel about it. Oh, I did it again. I double embossed it again. So I'm gonna do it one more time. This is the life here. This is the life. I'm just gonna send it through once, and I'm not gonna wet it this time. So it happens, especially when you're not paying attention and you're not holding anything tight. Sometimes it's good to actually tape the paper inside the embossing folder. So, all right, we're gonna just turn it up a little bit, and we're gonna send it through one time, maybe. Third time's the charm. That's right, Jen. Yeah, I know. I mean, I've seen them. Ugh, I want this to be a little deeper. Maybe I should be using the thicker cardstock. Should I try one with the thicker cardstock? I'm always nervous about that, though. This is our 120-pound white cardstock. I'm going to try it. I did it at home with the 80-pound, and it was fine, but I don't know. I'm trying it. Wish me luck. I'm going in. Okay, here we go. Ooh! It's a thick cardstock.
Seat O the pants.
Seat O the pants, yep. I am. I'm making more. Now that I'm making more 5x7, have I considered that your paper comes in 25 packs again. I don't think so, just because we have so much cardstock now because of the way we have to have it milled. Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous. All right. So today it was the thicker cardstock that wanted to play nice. I'm telling you, 3D embossing can be a little bit touchy, but don't give up on it. I don't give up on anything. Just work with it and see what happens. Okay. I don't think we're going to do the 25 packs only because we have to buy, oh my gosh.
Sounds like our marriage vows.
We have to buy, I'm trying to think how many at a time of a color. So 70,000. That's so many. So I just don't see us like being able to carry that much. It would be so much more expensive for us to do it that way. Okay, so the first thing I like to do with these stencils is line them up and look at them in the light and make sure that they're all lined up properly. Once I know that they're all facing in the right direction, then I try to figure out how they would go onto my piece of cardstock. And so this is the way. So this will make it easier for me to line it up, I think. We'll see. So I'm going to lay this down. Let me look at the, yes. It also helps to look at the picture on here because it's easier to see this in silver than it is in white, especially when you have lights glaring at you. And I don't know how easy this is to see. If I hold it that way so you get the shadows, you can see it's a nice deep embossed image. But when I lay it flat like this, there's a lot of glare, so it is a little bit harder to line it up and see it that way. Okay, so let's see. Do I have it in the right direction? No. Let's see. Let me look at this and see where these two are. So sometimes they're upside down too, like you have to flip them around. Okay. Let's go with, try that. There we go. All right, so I was looking up here at this part right here, and I was looking at that little corner right there, and that looked the same to me, so I think that worked out pretty well. One of the issues that you'll have when you line these up, and that you have to just think about it for a minute, is that the folder is smaller than the stencils, right? Because the stencils are 6x6 stencils and the folder is smaller. And we tend to want to like line up things on the side, and it doesn't line up that way because the folder is more in the middle. Okay, so now we've got that. Let me grab my trusty inkstand. Brienne, you know what to do. Link this inkstand. I'm going to use the light spruce. Now, this is a big piece of cardstock, and I have it on my sticky mat, but I always worry when there's only a tiny little bit touching the sticky mat. I always worry that it's just not enough. So I put a little piece of either washi tape, pixie tape, mint tape, whatever tape you have, just put it on there just to hold it down, just to be double safe. And now I'm going to use a big blending brush for this, and I'm going to go with the light spruce. And I'm going to just work my way down these beautiful holly leaves. I do think 3D stencils are some of the most, or 3D embossing folders are some of the most elegant designs that we have in our collection. They're so pretty. I love them. And the neat thing about it is when you ink up after you've embossed, a lot of the embossing grabs color. So it grabs in different spots. It grabs down into the veins of these leaves. It grabs on the parts where it looks like the leaves are folded over. So that's why I tend to like embossing before I add ink. But the other night when I did the paste, you have to do the paste first. But you're not looking for shading here. You're looking for shine here. When it comes to this, you're looking for shading. Okay. Now I'm going to kind of go in the other direction just to make sure I got all the edges. The other thing you're going to notice about the stencils with 3D embossing folders is sometimes the stencils appear to be a hair bigger than the design. And that's because it's got to drop down around this three-dimensional design. And the difference between a 3D folder and a 2D folder is the 3D folders have more levels of height. Some of it is debossed, and also you get rounded areas like on the berries, things that are rounded in domes, where 2D folders, everything is flat on the top. So it's just two-dimensional. You've got the cardstock, and then you've got this raised design that's completely flat. 3D, you have different areas, like this is raised, but this part of the leaf is raised even higher. So that's what makes it a little bit different. All right, now I'm going to get some medium spruce, and I'm going to use one of our small blending brushes. They're the detail brushes. And let's see, I think this will work. I'm going to do a little medium spruce just down around the bottom of each of these leaves. My medium spruce is going to need to be re-inked soon. I use this color all the time, especially for the holidays. Yes?
The name of the stamp die set is Jolly Holly?
Jolly Holly. Yeah. There's a little bit of fresh asparagus left on this brush. Can you see the kind of green, the yellowy green there? And I'm okay with it. I think it looks kind of cool. It's like it releases the medium spruce, and then we get a little bit of that yellow in there, and I kind of like the way it's looking, so I'm not upset about it. We'll see how it looks when I pull the stencil off, but I think you're going to like it. I don't even know if all of this is going to show on my card because I'm adding a frame. I know that's not going to show because I'm not going to let it. The glob that I just did. But this really makes a difference, and this kind of almost feels like you're adding another stencil layer on here. I do this a lot with our coloring stencils. If there's, or even our layering stencils, I'll do it a lot with that too. If there's an area that, like a leaf, that only has a single layer, by just adding a little bit of a darker shade down near the bottom of the leaves where they would be growing out of the branch, or, you know, kind of hidden under a berry or whatever, it does really create the look that you almost had another layer of stencil there. But it's even better than that because it's just a soft blend. And you guys know, for those of you that have used our ink, we have a smoothing agent in our ink. So even when things look a little bit blotchy, they really do smooth out as they dry. And it's pretty nice. I want to get a little of that yellowy stuff in there because I like it. Okay, so let's take a look at that. I was thinking about using 3 greens. I was going to use the dark, but I don't think I need to. This is going to be just a very soft look. But if you wanted to even go a step more, you could go to the dark spruce, and that's a gorgeous color. Okay, there we go. Aren't they pretty? I love that. All right, so now we're going to go with layer 2. You have to give me a minute to find where it goes. And I always clean my stencils with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. I like using rubbing alcohol, but I did tell you earlier, I don't put it in a spray bottle personally because I'm sensitive to chemicals. So if you are, you know, just put a little on your rag and use it that way. But if you're not sensitive to chemicals, it is nice to be able to spray it. It makes it quick. But if you are sensitive, that that could irritate you a little bit. So use discretion. All right, now we're going to do the berries. So let's pick some berry colors. Now I was thinking of starting with Coral Reef and then maybe adding some red velvet, but I was also thinking of doing Red Hot and adding some faded brick. So let's start with this and see how it looks. Now there are two different layers of berries. So you have the first layer. This layer, doesn't really matter which layer, but the layer that has more berries is a little bit behind the other layer. So I'm thinking, let's do this layer, and let's do it, let's see here. Let me find how this goes. No? I know you guys probably can see it, and I just can't see it. Let me find where there's, so these two probably go there maybe. Nope. Nope. All right. I really should have, well, I thought I did. I thought I had it all lined up where it needed to go. And then, you know, there's always the chance that it's upside down too. You know what? You can tell that it was upside down because these scoring lines that are on here that really show you the picture are on this side. So here we go. So let me see if you can see that. Can you see that these lines are scored on here? There we go. So now you can kind of look for the design. And remember, I was looking up here for this one on the last one, and there it is up there. So that made my job a little bit easier. I always forget that those lines are there because we don't do that on our regular layering stencils, and so I always forget. Okay, so we'll get this in place, and I'm going to add this again, the pixie tape, just to hold it down. Now let's start with the coral, the sun-kissed coral. This is our real light coral. Yeah, I think so. Over time, it's probably better not to breathe it in, even if you aren't sensitive. I agree. I agree with that. We'll go with that. And I'm going to add the coral. And I'm using just one of our detail brushes for this, but it's just as easy to use a big brush if you want. And I'm just pressing down a little bit as I go because there isn't really anything holding this down in the center. If you use Pixie Spray by Thermoweb, it'll hold everything down. And it's a great product, especially if you have a design that has a lot of little flappy things that flap up. Then that Pixie Spray really helps keep all of that down. The only downside of Pixie Spray is, and it's not really a downside, it's just some people who really like everything to be super cleaned up afterwards. Pixie Spray is hard to get off your stencil. It's really not meant to come off of your stencil. It's meant to last so that you can use it over and over again. But some people prefer not to have that little stickiness. So it's up to you. If you don't care about that, I know that there's people that put their stencils back like they don't even clean them. They don't worry about it. And that's great. I kind of wish I could be that way. I'm a little touchy when it comes to that stuff. Now I'm going to use red velvet, but if you don't mind it, you know, Pixie Spray will definitely hold everything in place really well. All right, now I'm going to use red velvet, and then I'm just going to use it kind of where the berries would be like tucked behind another berry, like right in the center there, just to add some dimension. Maybe right here where it's coming out of the leaf. Wherever it would be like next to something else. I know it's going to be next to another berry there. Do it around both of those. The individual die cut ones are super easy to line up on the stencil. I'll say that, and it'll take me 30 minutes. But I find that they're easier because you're just going right into the center of the stencil. But just don't get too frustrated. And if it's easier for you to mark it with a Sharpie, like this side and this end up, you know, maybe put an arrow at the top, then you won't have to think about it anymore. And I'll probably do that next time I make one of these. But just remember that alcohol will remove Sharpie off of your stencils. So just be a little careful around where you put your Sharpie dots or your Sharpie lines. There we go. Okay, let's take that off. Oh, isn't that nice? It looks like such a hot mess before you do that, and then it looks so pretty when you take it off. Okay, I'm going to clean it. See, I have to clean it in between, even though I'm going to use it again. And that's my crazy personality. I have to clean it, but I won't put it away where it belongs, and it'll take me 6 months to find it. All right, let me look for the lines. Here's the lines again. So I think, there we go. Yeah, the lines are a big help. Okay, now for these, I'm going to do that same color combination because I think it's really pretty. And I think just the way that we're laying these together, you know, by doing the first ones and having that dark shading, I think it's going to work really well. But you could also do a secondary color combination here, maybe of lighter ones or darker ones. Let's go ahead and go back to the sun-kissed coral. And then we'll add just a little bit of that red velvet again. Did I say red velvet the first time? I think I did. Sometimes I say red hot and I mean red velvet. I mean red velvet. Red velvet is considerably darker than sun-kissed coral, where red hot is a little bit of a lighter red. It's a very vibrant red. It's beautiful, but I feel like, you know, you almost need that little bit of darkness from the red velvet. Okay, same thing again. I'm going to just bring this darker color in where it's touching other things. Okay. It's kind of touching a lot of things. But you'll see when I pull this off what I mean. It just creates that depth. So, here we go. And just a tiny bit more on this last one. And then we just have to add our branches to this. The assembly of this card is only going to take a minute, but so can you see all that shading, how it creates so much pretty depth in there? Now, if you wanted, and you had time, I don't have time today because we're live, but if you wanted, you could put this stencil back on or leave it on, and then you could add just a little bit of the ruby sparkle gel on top, and that would just create a little bit of shine on just that layer, and that would be really pretty, a nice way to add just a tiny bit of shine, but you don't have to put it on all the berries, just the one little layer there. It's kind of cute. Okay, and again, make sure we're on the right side. I know I missed that, but that's going to get cut off, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so I think it goes right here like this. So you can kind of see where the branches are supposed to go in between the different holly leaves and berries. And there's a little bit up there. I don't even know if you're going to see that. But I'm going to probably use more this side of the panel because it has more berries than this side. And I want as much red in my design as I can get. So for this, I'm going to use warm cocoa. You can use any brown you want. All right, Tom. So while I'm doing this layer, do you want to do your word of the day?
Okay, so keeping with the Christmas theme of this live, the Christmas holiday for young parents often has late night maneuvers involved. Moving about the house in the dark for different reasons, but also little Halloween things go bump in the night. I am convinced that the big toe, the primary purpose of the big toe is just to tell you where the furniture is placed in the dark, and walls and baseboards, and which leads us to the word of the day, which is I believe, the original spelling and origin of the term mistletoe.
That's awesome.
Back to the dead space.
You've experienced that before, haven't you? Oh, the worst. I remember one time Tom was carrying either Alicia or Rena to bed. You know, it took him forever to go to sleep. And he was carrying them, and he found the corner of the coffee table with his pinky toe and the toe next to it, and not being able to make any sound, but the look on his face. Some of those things you never forget, you know? All right, so there we have our finished Jolly Holly design. And now we're going to do our two little ones here. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. It's so funny and it's so true. All right, so I'm going to lay this out to match this shape. I'm going to do it there, and then I'm going to do the second one right under it here. Got a little piece of fabric right there. We'll leave it there. I'm not worried about it. Okay. Mistletoe. That's awesome. I love it. Alrighty. Now I'm going to look for that same spot. So this should be pretty easy to line up, I said. And then turned it the wrong way anyway. There we go. Now you'll notice when you're doing the die cut pieces, you do want to make sure that they're pressed down onto your sticky mat. And you'll notice that the stencil is definitely bigger than the design. And you see here how it's not lining up right? It's because I kind of bent it when I stuck it to my sticky mat. So I'm just going to press it into place there to make sure that it's in the right spot for the stencil. Same with this one. I'm just going to move it a little bit up and then press it down onto the sticky mat so they are shining through in the right spots. There we go. Okay. So for this one, I'm going to use that same color combination. I'm going to start with the light spruce and the big brush. Oh, I know, it does hurt. It really hurts. Our kids will never know what we suffered in those years. So I'm just adding that, and then I'm going to go back and add that medium spruce and whatever else was on that brush. I'm not moving it because I have it all positioned here nicely. So I don't see the point of moving it out of this position. But I did put my brush away, so I don't know which brush. Well, we'll try this one. Whatever's on here is going to be what it is. So we'll add that down here at the bottom. So this one might be a little bit more true to spruce color. I think I picked a different brush that didn't have that yellow-green on it, but that's all right. Okay, so we've got that layer. Okay, now I'm going to just do a quick little wipe with my alcohol here, just to get any of that dark off of there. And now I'm going to do the same thing on this one, because I want 2 of these for my tag. This one was laying very nicely. And let's go back to, Brienne should be texting me right about now, use your second inkstand. So I have my second one here. It definitely pays to have more than one inkstand, I'll tell you that. Especially when you're doing a lot of blending on a lot of pieces with a lot of colors. It's nice to be able to have them just all sitting out. Make sure I got the edges of that. Okay, and now I will use, got my second inkstand over here. And we're going to add that second color. This is truly, I think, one of my favorite holiday projects. It's so soft and elegant, and you can just make panel after panel after panel, and then just save them and grab them, make tags, make cards. It's relaxing to do this technique. Okay, so we have, that's just the one. Let's do this part first. We'll do these 3 first. The 3 dots, we're going to do same color combo. This would actually be a really nice card and tag combo. So if you were giving somebody a greeting card, a holiday card, but then you also had a gift for them, you could pop this onto the gift and it would just be a beautiful look to have them both done to match. All right, so we're going to use these 2 colors, Sun-Kissed Coral and Red Velvet.
Shannon wants to know, can you refresh a sticky mat?
Yes, just use your tidy towel or any kind of lint-free cloth with water only, and that will refresh the sticky mat. Never use alcohol, never use stamp cleaner or anything else like that on it, or you'll take the sticky off. Now, if you've already taken the sticky off and you want to save it, I would pick up some pixie spray from Thermoweb. Pixie spray, you can spray your mat and kind of reactivate it again with that spray, and it'll make it sticky again. So that would be my best advice. All right, we've got those. And again, I'm just going to clean that red off of there. I always clean the back too, just to be safe. And we're going to do that same thing down here. Now, if you're talking about our grip mat, and our grip mat is different than the sticky mat. What I'm using now is the sticky mat. The grip mat, you can clean it exactly the same way that you would clean a clear stamp. So you can use stamp cleaner on it, and you can also use warm soapy water. That all works really well. Never use alcohol on a grippy mat either. Alcohol is just not okay for photopolymer. It's not okay for sticky stuff. I don't know if you've ever had anything sticky on, like, you you buy something at a store like a glass or a coffee mug or something, and it's got a sticky sticker, alcohol will get that sticky right off, which is great, but you don't want it to take the sticky off your mat. So hopefully that helps.
If the sticky wears off of the mat, there's no way to get it back?
You mean the grip mat or the sticky mat?
Sticky mat.
That's where I would, like I said, I would use the ThermoWeb Pixie spray to reactivate it. Sorry, my blood sugar machine is screaming at me, so my pump, so let me just shut that off. Give me just 1 second. Okay. There's nothing wrong. Everything is fine. All right, so we're going to do that. This one really doesn't matter. You could pick any circle to do this one. For those of you who are new here, I am a type 1 diabetic, insulin dependent, pump wearing warrior, and it never fails. What I try to do, if anybody knows a diabetic that's on insulin, what I try to do is not have too low of a blood sugar when I start so that I don't have to worry about crashing. So I always like eat a little something and turn my insulin off so it doesn't it doesn't give me too much insulin. But then like it allows you to do that for like an hour, and then an hour into my live, it's like, hey, remember you shut me off? You probably want to turn me back on. I really don't, but but sometimes, you know, I gotta at least make it stop beeping. So that's what you hear now and then. And it's so funny, some of my friends out there who watch my videos are also diabetics, and I can't tell you how many of them said to me, every time your pump goes off, I look and check because I think it's mine. So sorry about that. Sorry for the added fear that I bring to my diabetic viewers. So I'm just wrapping this up with that little bit of brown in there. I'm gonna just go a little darker right where the berry is. Oh, that's pretty. I don't worry about it though. We all have something, right? Everybody has something. Get through. Make it through. Crafting gets us through a lot, doesn't it? Okay. So, no worries. Okay, so now we've got these two beautiful branches here, hollyberry branches, that are ready for a tag. Okay. Now, it is time to assemble what we have here. So, let me get my brushes out of the way so I don't inadvertently lean into ink that's on the table or on the brush. Now I'm going to trim this one down, and I want to make sure that it's going to fit through the window. So like I said, I'm going to use more on this side because I want as much of that red to show through. So first I'm going to tape these three frames together. I'm making sure I don't have any ink on my hands. I do, but not enough to transfer. So I'm going to tape them because it's just a little easier than using the glue. And I like to just line it up on one side first, and then line it up on the other side. Then come down, line it up on this bottom side, and then on this side. And then I can press the rest into place. Okay. And now we're going to put this on top of this one. This just gives us a beautiful, thick frame. You can also wood grain this if you wanted it to be a little bit more, you know, homey looking. That would be very pretty. I just do the four corners first, making sure that everything's lining up in those four corners. Because once the four corners are done, then you know everything else is going to line up just fine. Okay, so now I've got a nice thick frame there. So now we have to trim down this panel. So our opening here, let me get my Tim Holtz ruler. Our opening here is 3 inches. So we want to go maybe 4 inches across, right? Because there's the opening at 3 inches. We want it to still be under there. We don't want to take it right to the edge, but we also don't want it to be, you know, we don't want it to be on the outside. So we'll take it to 4 inches. Let's see what that looks like first. Let me measure here. Just make sure that where this ends, yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. So 4 inches, that's going to be good. Just like that. I'm not worried about the top or anything else. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put tape around the outside of this frame. And then we're going to line it up so that it looks nice. I think that looks very nice. Okay. Now this is going to go on top of that Christmas pine panel. And I like to always just take my nail and just go along the edge here of any dies just to remove any frays, because sometimes you have a few little frays and that's okay. That's normal. Okay. And we'll pop that on there to give it just that. That would be my normal black layer. But I'm going with the green. I think that that is so lovely. Now we could do a white card base, but I'm going to do, let me see if I have the color I want. I think I do. I'm going to do honey mustard. I think honey mustard is going to be a really pretty color when matched with the gold greeting. I think it'll bring some of that gold into the card. And I think it'll be pretty. You could do any color background that you want. I got my new tonic paper cutter here. I don't know if you guys have seen this one, but it's got handle storage and it's got this extender. So I'm going to put this down and just throw my extender in. And then put my handle on. And I'm going to cut this down to 10 by 7. So 10 inches by 7 inches. And then I'm going to score that. Do I have my scoreboard? Here it is. I'm going to score that at the 5-inch mark to make this a 5 by 7 card. There we go. If you have gold cardstock, that would be beautiful. I don't have any gold cardstock. We used to have it, but our mill stopped making it. So now we have to find somebody new to mill that for us.
And where can they purchase the tonic cutter?
I ordered mine from Simon Says Stamp. You could check your local stores and see if they have them. Also, scrapbook.com probably has them, but I got mine at Simon Says Stamp. And I actually bought 2. I bought that one and a different one, and I like them both. I bought the one that has just the rotary dial. I wanted to try it. I like it, but I always like a guillotine style. Is it guillotine or guillotine, Tom?
Yes.
Can you reach back into the your your old world England days? Tell me what you know.
That would be France, honey.
France, sorry. Your old world France days? Sorry. That's why I make cards, because I didn't study in school. All right.
Do we have a date for the next release?
We do. October 23rd. Well, that's the plan. Don't change your plans though, because our dies are not here And there was a holiday that we were dealing with. Not our holiday, but a China holiday. That happens every once in a while. They have these little holiday weeks that they go on, and sometimes that throws a wrench into things. So our plan is the 23rd, but you never know. Okay. I know. I don't know. I don't know I never listened in history class. All right, so I'm going to use the Merry Christmas, and I'm going to put that like right here because I don't want to cover up any of the berries, you know? I feel like we worked too hard to get those, and also they're so pretty, but I am going to overlap on the side here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know history, but I'm pretty good at economics.
23rd is on a Thursday.
Oh, it is? Really? Maybe it's the 21st. That's a lot sooner. We're not doing it on a Thursday. We're definitely doing it on a Tuesday night. We always do it on a Tuesday night because more people are home at night than during the day, and people get really upset with us when we release things during the day. We get a lot of bad feedback when we do that because people are at work and they can't just, like, you know, you have an OR nurse. The doctor's like, scalpel, and the nurse is like, I gotta go order my kit. I'll be right back. That doesn't work. So, although maybe OR nurses work at night too. I don't know. Emergency ones probably do. Okay. So now I'm going to pop this into place. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tape right here on the end, just so that where it sticks to the side here, it'll hold down. Okay, and I'm going to place that right about here. I think that looks... Maybe I'll go up just a little bit more because I still have the other greeting I have to add on here. So I'm going to go up just a hair more. So I'll overlap a tiny bit on that berry, but not that much. Okay, and then I'm going to add this right under it. Same thing. I'm not taking it all the way to the edge. These are a little thick. Let's see. So I'm just going to put some little foam square things right here. And here. And then just tape right here. And then I definitely need the tweezer for this because I want to line this up properly. And that's just going to go right under. I love when you can cut out the strip sentiment like this. That's so nice. And let's add just a couple tiny glue dots of embellishments here for embellishments. We're going to do some gold pearls. So we'll do one here.
Sandy wants to know, might there be a new master layout anytime soon?
Look for that coming in 2026. I think I'll do one more over here. That will be in the new year. I still have to finish my series for you guys too, and I promised I would do that by the end of this year. I would have all of the master layouts that we have, that series done. So I promise more videos are coming. But I always like to, whenever we have a new release, I always like to share inspiration for an inspirational video for each product so that people can get some ideas on how to use it. And this was the last new product that was part of my collection. Okay, so there I put 5 little gold pearls on there, just for a little touch of pretty. Now I'm going to need more of these, so this tag is going to assemble very quickly. So what we're going to do with the tag, because we want it to kind of match, we want it to be like a matched set. So I'm going to put one here like this, and then one here like this. This is my plan. Okay. And then I'm going to put the Happy Holidays like right there. And then I need a little gold cording. This is just some old gold cording that I had. Now I'm going to pop all of this up. So we're going to put a few foam squares on here. I have foam squares stuck to me now. But I'll need that little piece for something, I know it. I just love the dimension that the foam gives you for this, you know, just having it popped up like that. So let's do that. Okay. And we're going to put that right here like this. And you can go off the tag, you know, because the tag isn't really going in an envelope. So it's not a problem to go off the tag a little bit. But I think that that little gold perimeter around there with the Tag Trio Polyglaze really does make a difference. Don't you guys think? Added another foam square on here. I like it. I think, you know, that it just dresses the tag up just a little bit.
Do you know the dimensions of that tag?
I don't, but I can measure that out and see. So I'm kind of connecting them with this leaf right here. Just like that. So the tag measures 3 inches by 5 inches. 3 by 5. And then for this, it's going to go on top right there like that. So I really only need foam squares like right in here, and the rest I'm going to do with tape. So just foam squares on the end here.
And that tag die is from?
The Tags Trio set. There we go. And you can also use liquid glue for this if you prefer. But I like, the tape is quick and easy. So we'll put that right there. We'll just have it cascade over the edge just a little bit, over the edge of the gold on the tag die. There we go. And then we'll add a couple little pearls here. 1, 2, 3. I think 3. We'll do 3 for this one. 5 for the card, 3 for this. I'll just scatter a few more here. And I'm just using, I have my minis and my regular set of metallic pearls all mixed together, but I'm just using minis. So if you wanted, you know, to know what embellishments I'm using, I'm only using the mini ones. And we sell the minis just as a set by itself. Because a lot of people liked the minis. Okay. So let's put these away. And now we're just going to put a little ribbon at the top, or twine, cording at the top. And then we've got this beautiful set that goes together. Let's zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. There we go. So I'm just going to take some cording here. And I'm going to fold it in half and in half again, like that. And then I'm going to send it from the back toward the front. Now you can double up on these tags if you want. I'll show you what I did on my sample that I made for the release party, if you want to jazz it up even more. And then I'm just going to put a little knot right here, like that. And then I'll just trim that off. So there's that finished tag, and that could go on a wine bottle, it could go on a gift, it could go, pretty much anywhere you would want. Now, I made a sample for release party night, same tag, but I cut a Christmas pine one, and then I didn't take my time to because I didn't actually nail it perfectly, but you could trim off the excess if you wanted to decorate the back. You could also just do white on white, and that would be beautiful too, and then you wouldn't have to worry if the white was showing through a little bit. So that would be kind of nice too. So there we go. We've got a tag and we've got a coordinating card that could be used as a card and a gift together. So that is my take on this beautiful Jolly Holly 3D embossing folder bundle. All right, Tom. Well, we're going to give away a gift card, okay? So I don't want to forget that. But before we do, if you liked today's video, and we really hope that you did, if you wouldn't mind giving it a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You'll never miss another video. Just hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, all notifications, and anytime we go live or if I post a short or a new video, you'll get a notification. Then we'd love to have you over at our Facebook group. To me, it's the happiest place on Facebook. It's called Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends, and there are over 49,000 members there, getting close to 50,000. And we all share our love of Gina K Designs projects. And what's nice about that is if you like our product line, you can go in there and all the cards that you're going to see, if you see it there, that you can find those products on our website at GinaKDesigns.com. And Brianne Loveland, thank you so much for linking everything. But if you did miss it, check out our website down here. It's called GinaKDesigns.com, and you can find everything that I used in today's video over there. All right, Tom, are you ready to give away a gift card?
Drum roll, please. Here we go. Today's winner is Anci Engman. Anci Engman.
Yay! Congratulations, Anci. You are today's winner. All you have to do is send your name and email address to info@GinaKDesigns.com, and we will get that gift card sent over to you. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us again today. We hope that you have a very crafty weekend planned. You're going to get some time in your craft room to get inky and make some holiday cards or whatever you're working on right now. It's always good to take a little mental break and do something with your hands. And Tom and I will be back next Tuesday night with another Stamp and Chat Live, so we hope you'll join us then. In the meantime, stay safe and healthy. We love you all so very much, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.